So we've had Rachel's budget. So what does that mean to us entrepreneurs? I think that it means we just dig deep, crack on. Bottom line is that we have a seriously socialist government in play that are really only interested in the bottom of the tank, and they want to take out from all of the fish in the middle of the tank to pay for the bottom of the tank, because the ones that are floating on the top of the water, well, they've just left. I think from all of the conversations I've had over the last probably 6 months with different characters about how to be tax efficient, we won't use any other word than that, tax efficient, they are seeing vast numbers that have either left the country last year or are in the process of leaving the country. Now, on the other hand, if like me, you actually want to stay in the UK, because we're a bit stupid like that, we love England, then we've just got to crack on and do what we can to earn our way out of the stupidity that is in Westminster at the moment, until such a time that someone else can come in that's actually got brains to work out that if you want growth in a country, you have to give the incentives for people to start and build a business that employs and creates tax and everything else. None of us minds paying tax. We just don't want to work and be awake all night wondering how on earth are we going to get enough finances together to pay all of these things, including HMRC. So when HMRC and Rachel from accounts decide that you're wealthy because you can actually buy a loaf of bread this week, it takes all the incentive out of it. Why not just go get a job? And probably the best jobs in the world are in civil service. So if you want to be ring-fenced for the future, get a job in the civil service. No productivity targets, guaranteed pension, do not work in the private sector. However, if you don't want to be one of the socialists forever and a day, and you actually want to get on in life and achieve something, you kind of got to just dig deep and plough your way through all of the mess that is created by socialists, because again, those guys like to spend the capitalist monies, don't they? But the bottom line is, without the people making the money, you can't actually pay for the guys further downstream. And it amazes me that they still cannot see that if you take out meritocracy, if you delete incentives to get on in life, eventually it crashes. I mean, name me a communist socialist state on the planet in history that's ever actually worked. There aren't any. Anyway, I'm getting on my little soapbox there. So, for us entrepreneurs, is it worth us cracking on? Yes, I think it is. I think what we've got to do is create a plan that can utilize as many levers in the system to allow us to grow and flourish. Even while these idiots are in power, they're only going to be in power for a year to 3 years tops. Then they'll get thrown out and they'll be as decimated as the blue team were after their 14 years. And let's not forget, Brexit never actually achieved its objectives because the left didn't allow it. Burko, the speaker, every time they were trying to achieve something, would cry it down. The lefties would cry it down. Labour kept going on about 14 years of conservatism. And whilst conservatism was just a waste of time in the end, it was only a waste of time because the socialists would not allow them to actually achieve anything. Every time they tried to do something of substance, they were suppressed. But that's me getting on my little high horse. Back to being in business. Now, for us guys in business, know how the system works. Get a good accountant, someone that knows how to operate the system so that you can still grow and flourish. There's a massive difference between the average accountant and good accountants. And here's a little tip for you. I've historically always changed my accountants every 3 or so years because they are brilliant in the first year. Oh, didn't your old accountant? In other words, didn't they do the job properly? Oh, well, we'll do X, Y, Z. After 3 years, they stopped doing that. So if you've had the same accountant for the last 10 or 20 years, I highly recommend you start investigating what other accountants can do based on what you've got. So that's it from me. It was over 5 minutes. Apologies for that. Hope there was something of value in there for you. But the bottom line is this: entrepreneurialism is not dead if you're not dead.